Well, to give us a lay of the land ahead of tonight's results is political writer and commentator Graham Thomson. Graham, nice to see you once again. Thanks for being with us.
It's my pleasure.
Listen, I feel like we need to begin with Danielle Smith because despite there being a field of 7 candidates, she's the one to have gotten the most attention. In fact, your most recent article that I saw said, "Look out, Canada, here comes trouble." Talk to us about Danielle Smith and how her leadership bid has gone.
Yeah, look, this is an amazing comeback. You go back 2014, she crossed the floor. She was head of the Wildrose Party. She and 8 others crossed the floor to the PCs, the Progressive Conservatives, and that was a huge mistake. All of those floor crossers never got re-elected in the 2015 election campaign. Big mistake for her and for Jim Prentice. And she said at the time that she was unelectable. Well, a big comeback because she had a radio program. And that radio program, phone-in show, actually allowed her to sort of burnish her tainted image by really appealing to more conservative Albertans. And then during the pandemic, you got people angry at the federal government, as usual, in Alberta, but also angry at pandemic restrictions. She was with them. She was supporting them. She was cheering on the truckers. She was also promoting things like ivermectin as a cure for COVID-19 at some points. But she actually played to this base, and it really helped her. This is the base that helped bring down Jason Kenney in that May 18th leadership review vote. This is the base that's helping propel her to a victory. This is not a general election. This is not 2.8 million voters eligible to vote. This is only 124,000 UCP members, and half of them have joined just for this leadership vote. And many of them seem to have been joining to support Danielle Smith. She had a news conference on Monday acting as if she's already won. And this is quite amazing because a free-for-all in terms of phone in, ask questions, this Zoom news conference, and she's acting as if she's already won. Other campaigns have gone dark. I've talked to a few. They think that Smith is just too far ahead to catch tonight. So we're assuming, we'll see what happens, that she's going to win.
Okay.
So this is something we didn't expect a few months ago, but she is clearly the front runner.
As you said, not expected, but that is what people are talking about right now. I do want to get back to this idea of who her base is, though, because certainly the most attention that has been given to the race outside of Alberta has to do with Danielle Smith's proposal of an Alberta Sovereignty Act. I'm wondering how that speaks to the base and how it essentially underlines what unites these individuals in supporting Danielle Smith.
Yeah, a lot of anger at Ottawa. Now, Kenney really played this in 2019. He won the general election in 2019 by appealing to people, saying he's going to take on Ottawa, fight the fight-back strategy against Ottawa. People in Alberta, especially the conservative voters in rural Alberta, don't like Justin Trudeau in particular, but Liberals in general. So she's really tapped into that and upped the ante by saying that she would bring in what's called the Alberta Sovereignty Act, that she says would allow Alberta to ignore federal laws, federal regulations, even court decisions that she deems to be un-Albertan, that go against the interests of Albertans. There'll be a vote in the legislature, she says, but it's a way to try and ignore federal laws. Now, experts are saying this is unconstitutional. There's no way this is going to work. It'll be challenged in court. She's going to lose on this. It doesn't really matter. Either people want her to push this forward, who believe that she can do this, or they don't really care. They just want her to fight for Alberta and scream even louder. And she's been saying, look, the problem with Jason Kenney, he didn't fight hard enough. And I will fight harder, she said. And so experts saying this is a dead end, but this is something that's got a lot of support and has us all talking. When the campaign began, the question was, was Travis Taves, the former finance minister, was a front runner, but she grabbed the lead by being outrageous and grabbing support and playing to that base. Again, this is not a general election. It's just about getting 40 or 50,000 people to support her and win the leadership tonight and then become the premier, because as UCP leader, you become premier because the UCP is the governing party.
You mentioned Travis Taves. I want to talk about him as well because, of course, here you have Alberta's former finance minister, reportedly had the most support among MLAs. Has that now changed? How's his camp feeling going into tonight's results?
Yeah, they're worried. That we think that he is in second place. The question is, how far behind her is he? Listen, he began as a front runner. More support, people knew who he was. He had 23 or so MLAs who were supporting him. Some of those MLAs now have deserted him, are now supporting Danielle Smith. And the thing is, in leadership races in Alberta, the person with the most MLA support usually doesn't win. It doesn't really matter. And a one person, one vote, where all the members can vote, and they all have one vote. How big an MLA doesn't really make a big difference. So he was a front runner. It seems he's in second place. I've talked to people in his campaign who think that they're maybe just too far behind Danielle Smith. It's a preferential ballot. If he does not win on the first count, then you start looking at people's second choice, or third choices perhaps. And Travis Taves, if he's close, maybe he can catch her. But the feeling is he's just too far behind.
Mm-hmm. Now, that brings up the other candidates, among them Brian Jean, and then there are 4 others in addition to him. What are you looking out for there?
It seems that what they're going to do is, if, again, we're assuming Smith is going to win this, if she doesn't win on the first ballot, or say Travis Taves doesn't win on the first ballot, then you start counting the other candidates' ballots. And that's the role they will play. They likely are not going to win this, so it's going to be a case of their votes, their supporters, those second, third, fourth choices will be the ones that determine the winner. So those other candidates in the race aren't really there to win the race. They're there, in a sense, to lend support to the actual winner. And that's going to be sort of how it will play out tonight as they announce the first ballot, second ballot, third ballot at 6 o'clock local time starting then. So we'll see just how quickly, again, I'm out on a limb here in some ways, how fast Smith is going to win this.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether or not you're correct in a short time from now. But listen, let's also talk about whoever wins, because this has been a contentious leadership race. Some controversial comments were made. Certainly people are coming up with past histories. Whoever wins, Danielle Smith otherwise, what type of challenge will they have in terms of trying to unite the United Conservative Party?
Yeah, this is a real problem because it's been a very divisive leadership race. Yeah, at one point, you had 4 of the candidates holding a news conference to attack Danielle Smith's Sovereignty Act. So it's a lot of division within the UCP. That's what actually helped bring down Jason Kenney. Don't forget, the UCP was brought together with the old Wildrose Party and the Progressive Conservative Party back in 2017. And it's been sort of an uneasy relationship, an uneasy marriage since then, and a lot of splits between both sides. So whoever wins tonight is going to have to try and unite the party because there's an election coming up. At the end of May, that's the fixed election date, May 29th, is the next big goal for whoever wins tonight. And this party, Travis Taves, for example, has not committed to running again if Danielle Smith wins this race. So it's a lot of pressure on Danielle Smith, not just to unite the right, if she wins that is, she'll have to tone down her rhetoric because she's not well liked among the general population according to public opinion polls. So she has to then appeal to Albertans while she's trying to unite the Conservative Party. The problem for her, her base is very angry, so she can't water down her promises too much. She'll alienate them, and also she'll have a split within caucus. At the same time, she has to try and appeal to the majority of Albertans in the upcoming election. So she's a real, I guess, interesting tightrope to walk in the next 6 to 7 months.
Mm-hmm. A tightrope for her and really anyone else who may win. We'll see if you're correct there, Graham. You and I will speak.
We'll see tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow morning. And you and I will speak again tomorrow. But for now, Graham Thomson, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.